All right, we're good.
We're on?
Yep.
Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to Gloria Horn Sewing Studio. This is Tuesdays with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany. I have PJ here. He's working all the audio visual, making sure you can see and hear what's going on. I appreciate you being here. If it's your first time, then we would like you to sign up. We're on various platforms. So we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Comment Soul. We've got an app. Oh, hi, Dean. Hi, Louise. Oh, and Brenda. We've got all kinds of people coming on already. It's always fun to read the comments, but you distract me, right? Anyway, so we're on all these different platforms. So if you're on our app, which is the quickest, easiest way to be able to purchase things or even go back and look at things, and so the app is on the Apple Play Store or the Google Store, and you can just download that and you'll be ready to go. And then Facebook, if you do that, PJ's playing with things too, so I'm seeing screens pop. So anyway, sorry guys. So if you're on Facebook, then you'll just type in register, it'll bring up a pop-up, you'll put your information in, and that way you can watch videos. The videos are on there for about a year. We have some lovely ladies who go through and coordinate that and organize it, which is just fantastic. Thank you to all of you. And I think that's kind of it for the business side. Shipping is free once you hit $75 within a 24-hour period. So we do combine orders. It's $8 otherwise. All right, I think I'm out of stuff, but we've got, I'm going to bring a map in because I want to mark. You should see, well, you can see PJ, but we've got Minnesota, Arizona, California, Virginia, so many people from all over the country. Thank you so much, guys. It's so fun. I know some of the local people I've had the opportunity to run into. We had, thank you for the comment on my jacket. So there was a quilt show I got to see a couple people at, which was really fun, and just around. So I appreciate you guys watching and saying hello when you see me out and about, because I see your names, but I don't always know who you are. So, all right. This week, we're going to continue on with the Morgan Messenger bag. I was watching last week's show and realized I really need to ramp up my game and be a little more organized, or we are going to take a year to finish this bag. And as beautiful as it is, and it is a bit more advanced of a bag, it really shouldn't take that long. So I want to we have an agenda now. I am optimistic that we will have 3 more classes to be able to finish this. And so this week, our goal is going to be, we're going to work on the lining. We're going to get those pockets done. We're going to do the gussets, and I'm hoping to get the zipper bridge in. That's my one. I'm not sure if we'll get it all finished this week. Hopefully we can at least get it made if we don't get it installed. And then next week we're going to work on the flap. So this is the flap. We'll be putting in the zipper and the pocket that's in there, and then we'll also put in the magnetic snaps. So next week's a little bit lighter, so if we have to install our zipper next week, it's not a big deal. We'll probably have it won't be quite as tight of a schedule. We'll also be next week working on our strap, so we'll assemble our strap. And then the final week, so in 3 weeks, we're going to do the gusset on the main bag. We're going to do the back of the bag and attach everything, and then we'll attach the strap and complete the bag. So again, we're looking at about someone commented on my hair. Thank you. I've been having rough hair days, so I appreciate the compliment. And so anyway, like I said, we'll have this done in 3 weeks, which brings me to another thing that's happening and very exciting is the bag club. So we talked about it last week. It's still a bit of a mystery what it's going to be. But the value is about $200. We have a book that will be in there. We have a new pattern, or a recently released pattern from a major bag designer that is going to be part of it. I haven't made the sample yet, but I'm very excited. I have some fabrics I found that I just need to fly it by the boss lady, but I think you're going to love it. So that'll be in there. And then I've also I've got 2 bags I'm working on, so you may end up with a bonus Tiffany bag, but they're based on current trends and things that I saw in London. So depending on how they turn out, we may end up with a 3rd pattern, so 2 from me. So that's going to be in there. all the materials. So you'll be able to make 3 bags. So one from the book, one from for that major designer, and then one of mine. I probably won't, because I didn't budget material wise for both bags, we'll at least do the one. And I see someone's asking, hi Dean, a strap question, my black weave isn't long enough. You can definitely do it shorter if you want, and we'll be talking, when we talk about the strap, we can talk about that, or you can piece it as well, so not a problem.
Mike is just going to click a little bit against your necklace. Do you mind moving it?
All right, I'm being told my necklace is clicking, so I'm going to go ahead and put it inside my shirt. There we go.
Perfect.
Oh, I still hear something moving, but maybe
I
that's...
think that'll cover it. It was really when it actually
All
hit
right,
against
sorry.
it.
Sorry, everyone.
No
Okay, there we go. I lost my train. So anyway, that's Bag Club. We did have a discount last week. We had it at $119.88. There are about 25 of you that signed up, which I love because it's such a mystery. But we are, this week the price went up a little bit, so we are going to end up at a final price, I believe around $139. So this week we're at $125 or $124.88, whatever the pennies are. And so if you want to do it and you want to get a discount, now's the time. I may start giving some sneak peeks starting next week, but and then if you just don't like the mystery idea and you just really want to know what it is you're getting yourself into, then May 7th is when we will be shipping the kits to all of you who pre-order. If you didn't pre-order, the following week, so the 14th, I will be showing what everything is, and you will have the opportunity to purchase it at that time. I just want to make sure anyone who kind of wants to play along with me and have it be a mystery will get that ahead of time, and then make sure they've got all their materials, and then we'll be able to add more after that. We'll also be able to do the patterns at that point will be sold separately. So if you just want to pick and choose, and then mine, because I don't typically sell my patterns independent, will only be available as kits. So if you like the ones that I create, that's wonderful. I appreciate it, but they'll be sold as kits for us. So I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, though, throw them up at me right now and I'll try and answer, or you can throw them in later and I'll try and get back to you next week with that too. So, all right, we're going to get to work because otherwise we won't get much done. So today I'm pulling item K. So K for us is going to be the pocket, and it's the like accordion pocket, which is really fun. And I've got this here, so we're gonna put this here. Now on K, I gave you in the cutting instructions 2 options. One was to cut 2 pieces, which is what the pattern called for. And then, and I said, if you wanted, you could just double that and have a fold. So what I did for mine is I did one big piece and then I folded it in half. So on your K, if you need to sew it, now's your time. You're going to sew that. You'll sew it right sides together. You're just going to stitch across the top, and then you'll open it up, press it, fold it down, and then you'll do a 1/8 inch seam across the top. So I did that with mine. The only thing is, if you're using the bigger piece, I did not adjust the size piece for the seam allowance. I should have. So, so I'm actually, this is about a 1/2 inch higher than it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to trim that really quick. I kind of wanted to do it in front of you guys. So if you did it this way as well, you would be aware of the fact that it does need to be trimmed just a little bit. And so I'm using kind of a mini set here just so that we have space. But again, you're going to cut that from the bottom side. So I've got my top up here with my stitching, and I'm just going to cut a 1/2 inch. I put a little pin in there this morning because I didn't want to forget that I needed to do that. So I'm just using my little ruler here. And now I had marked my corners before, and I'm going to have to remark those because with taking off a 1/2 inch, that curve is obviously not going to match up the way it was before. So here we go. Like I said, I'm just cutting off a 1/2 inch to allow for that seam allowance. And I'm not going to bother with the marking right now because it's going to get sewn onto something else. So we'll be able just to use the other piece as our mark. So, all right, so that's our first step. And get that all done. So at this point, you'll have your pocket ready to go. And then we're going to mark it. So you want to mark center. So I kind of just folded mine in half at first. And I made a little mark here and a little mark here. And then I just went down here and I drew my line. I think I moved my heat erase pen. So so you're going to mark, that's your center line. And then you're going to mark your next line. Your next line is going to be 3/4 of an inch over. And then you're going to go to 1.5 inches over. Now I pre-marked these because I thought, well, you watching me mark is going to take some time. But I thought if I at least showed you, so you just mark that. So now you've got your center line, 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 inch over from center. And then you're just going to do the same thing. So I just turned it around and I did the same thing over here. I went 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and then I did 1.5 inches and marked that. So we've got all of that marked. So then our next step is going to be to take it to the sewing machine. And so what you're going to do though, well, actually, that's not totally our next step. So I'm going to read this the way she worded it because so you're going to fold the panel right sides together along the 3/4 inch line from the center. So I've got my 3/4 inch here and I'm folding that. So I'm just folding it right there. So you can still see my 1.5 inch mark here. And I'm finger pressing this first. And what that does is the two solid lines, so your center line here and your center line for 1.5 are going to match up. And so we're going to do that on both sides and we're going to press. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the sewing machine and I believe right down here, yes, it's going to be here for the outside. Sew along both folded 1.5 inch lines. Oh, how did they do this? Hold on. See, I should have done one of these at home. I didn't want to not have your stuff on there. Let's see. 1.5 line meets the center line and press into place on the image. This will mean the two solid lines meet. The dotted line will be the fold. So yeah, that's our 3/4. Repeat for the opposite side. Sew along both folded 1.5. Okay. So it actually looks like I'm going to cheat because I did this before and I can look in my bag. So when we look in here, we've got our pocket. So, all right. So it's a little hard to see, but I'm going to show you in here. So, oh, here, I can pull it up. It's not that hard. All right. This is where 3/4 is. So it had me fold it one direction and then fold again back and press that. So I'm going to show you on here. So we folded this way and then we're going to bring this back over and we're going to fold it on that line. So I'm bringing it over here. And I've got that. I'm going to use clips because I love clips. They're really great for holding everything. All right, so we're going to put that clip in there. And then I'm going to put the other one over here so that my line, you can see my line in there, is then folded right on there. And that's on there. So I know it's a little awkward. But now when you look at it, so that's my center line. That's going to be the back and this will be the front. So we're going to actually stitch this one right here. So I'm just going to press that really quick. Just have to move things over a bit. All right. The iron turned off, the joy of having a cordless. All right, so I'm going to put my clips back on there and we'll fold the other side too. That way you can kind of see. And actually, I might have done it reverse. Here, let me do it this way. So you take your 3/4 and you go into where you no longer see it. So you just kind of see it up on here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to fold this on that line, but I'm going to hide that line in there. Now this could also, what would be really easy, and she didn't put it in her instructions, but if you marked both sides, you'd be able to see those lines on either side and line it up. So for example, let's do it real quick. I need a pen. I'm going to grab this one from over here. I brought a heat erase with me, but I left it at the machine. All right, guys, this is part of why it takes me a little longer when I'm doing things. All right, so I've got my center line right here. There we go. So I'm just going to move this up here so I can see where all my lines are, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Just line up those ends. So what I'm doing is I'm just folding this over, allowing it to where I can see those lines so that then I can just use the ruler and mark our lines real quick. Again, this isn't in the pattern, but I think this will make it a lot easier for us to match those up, since it's like you're folding it in kind of an accordion, and then your lines disappear whichever way you go. So I'll do this real quick. I missed one of them. There we go. All right, there we go. Now what's nice is we've got our center. We're going to fold this in. So that 3/4 line is going to go. We now see it, so we're folding this over that direction, and then we're going to fold this over. And what's nice is we're going to have, if we're hot, we can press it now, which makes it a little easier too. There we go. So we're just going to press it. You want to be a little careful on pressing here if you used a heat erase pen, because as soon as you use this heat on it, it erases. And so, all right, there we go. So I've got that on there now. And then this is probably the trickiest thing we're doing today, just so you know. And it's more just, it's like a thinking thing, and there we go. So now, if you look at it this way, so I'm folding, so now we went from here, we've got that line there, that's our 1.5, and we're just going to bring this back, and now it lines up with our center line, which is exactly what we want. And then this is going to be where we stitch, is right along here. So I'm going to give it a quick little press just to make it easier for when we go over to the machine. And again, I'm going to put these little clips in here. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to, let's see, how did we do this? So we went backwards to the 3/4 line, and then we folded it back this way. So, is that right? No, that's not right. Sheesh. Okay. There we go. So we fold it to the front. So we're going to fold to the front to that 3/4. So we're going to cross that one. There we go. And we can see again that line on the back at that 3/4. There we go. And then we're going to fold it back. That's our 1.5, our outer one. So hopefully this is making sense as you're watching. I don't see any comments, so I'm hoping that's a good sign that we're doing
I
okay.
had to refresh, but I think there were just some comments about the bag club, so we
Oh,
can
okay.
go back to that. I don't want to
Okay.
distract you from
I
the task at
really,
hand.
me get distracted? That would never happen. All right, so now we've got that down again, so we're just going to press that. Again, just a light press because we want to take it over to the sewing machine, and we're just going to basically top stitch along here to hold these in place. It just gives it that really nice crisp look on these pockets, which is just one of the things I really like about this bag. I feel like it's very professional the way it looks. All right, so we've got that. Now I'm going to take over to the sewing machine with me as well. So we're going to go over and we're going to top stitch along both sides. And when we do, we're opening it up. So it's just the fold that we're top stitching. We want to still have this opening in there. And then it's going to get stitched to panel C that we had made last week. So remember, we did panel C last week and we put our zipper in and our pocket. So we've got this here, and our D is going to be, or excuse me, K is going to be going right on top of that, like that. And so I'm going to take this all over with me because we're going to go ahead and top stitch this, or excuse me, baste it onto here. I am going to really quick, since I have my pen over here, mark my corners as well. I'm just going to mark them with this one. Now on mine, my fabric didn't quite go down, so you'll see I have a little bit of interfacing showing. And that's okay. It'll all work out. All right. Now, someone had stopped in. Susan was in earlier, and she said her pocket didn't quite reach the side. So I'm going to check this really quick while we're doing it. I didn't have a problem with mine, but I may have just centered it and put it in there. And so when we go to put this on here, let's see. All right. Mine is going all the way across. I might have like maybe 1/8 of an inch over here that's not quite there, but I think I think mine turned out all right. So I'm not sure on hers. Maybe just the fold was a little bigger. So just really watch that you're doing a 3/4 inch fold there. If not, it's okay if it opens up a little bit, if it's stretched out. And so, all right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to go over to the sewing machine. I'm going to take a couple things with me, like the pattern, because we're going to go ahead and actually follow the pattern today. Super fun. All right. So PJ's coming over. As soon as he's over, we'll get started. I don't want to start without you guys. So.
Okay. Oops. Let's make sure we're good here.
Now, a couple tools I'm using today that I really like, and so I'll just point them out or talk about them while we're waiting, is obviously the clips. Clips are always a big fan. Heat erase pens. If you don't have the friction pens, they are marvelous for this because you can mark anywhere you want and it all goes away. So it doesn't matter if you make a little mistake, you can refix it. Also, I like when I'm using, when I'm kind of moving around and doing some smaller stuff, to have smaller tools too. So this happens to be a freebie that Gloria had given away at one point. I don't think we have them anymore. I wish we did, because this is a go-to tool for me a lot. So anyway, just a couple little things you're seeing me play with today that I brought from home. Not that we don't have them here, we do. It's just, I really like them. All right, so again, I'm taking, this is K, and I'm gonna do a top stitch on here. So I'm just gonna undo one at a time. And on the machine, I am using stitch 3. I'm going to go up to a stitch length of 3.5 millimeters. And so, and again, I'm just doing 1/8 of an inch. I have my walking foot on, and I'm just using the inside of the foot as my guide. And so it's pretty close to that 1/8 of an inch. And here we go. It is puckering just a smidge because it's thick and going through. I do have a little stiletto from home. I found these pink ones and fell in love with them. So this is the one I have. We have the other one that we have here is really nice because it screws in and you don't poke yourself. This one, on the other hand, I have doesn't have a cover. So I quite frequently get stabbed, but I still like the bright pink color, so I keep using it. All right, let's move up here. I am going to back stitch and then put a quick knot in just to make sure we're I'm not going to go anywhere with that. Okay. So you can kind of see now the difference on there. That side of the pocket is ready to go. Look how cute that is. Now we'll do the other side. All right. So again, just 1/8 of an inch. Whichever your good edges, that's going to show, just I highly recommend back stitching a little bit just to make sure, because pockets tend to get a lot of wear and tear. So put my knot in. And there we go. All right. So you can kind of see how that goes like that, but then it folds right back in, and we have that stitched up. Very professional looking. I also like to clip my threads as I go, especially in bags, because they tend to accumulate very quickly and then they get tucked inside. So I have a couple little threads here. We're just gonna pull those off real quick. All right. Now, move this over for a second. We'll go back to our instructions. I think the next step is to sew the pocket on. And so, okay, on top. So we're taking our K, which is this. We want to move our pocket. So inside of C, this is C with our pocket, our zipper pocket. You want to move your pocket out of the way. So up it goes right there. I don't think I'm supposed to actually show the pattern on air, so I'm going to move this over here so it's a little bit out of the way from you guys. I apologize. I know most of you, or a lot of you, bought the pattern, but I can't. I don't think I'm allowed to show that.
I think it's small enough that they probably wouldn't be able to
read it. Oh, that's good. Then I don't feel as guilty.
I wouldn't rule anything out.
I have definitely been guilty of seeing something I like and taking a screenshot. So maybe it's my own guilt that makes me think, oh, I shouldn't do that. All right, so I'm just lining this up. All right. So there we go. Again, we've got that pocket out of the way. I'm going to double check. All right, and you really want to, when I just did that, I was making sure everything was centered. And part of why I did that is the next step we're going to do is we're going to open this up and we're going to stitch down the center here. And so, oh shoot, I forgot my basting tape. Basting tape is a really great thing right now, but I don't have it, and that's okay. We'll just do it this way. But if you have basting tape, it's a good time. You could put it on the back along that line so that it's attached to the bag, and then with that being there, it really helps hold it into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really make sure I get these clips in place, and I think I had a stick pin over at the other table. Would you mind looking? I think it's over sort of by the iron. So it has a yellow ball on the top. No? It may have meandered.
I do not see a
okay, that's all right.
Pin?
Yeah, it's
okay,
just like a stick pin. Oh,
is that it?
Yeah, that is exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. All right, so PJ saved the day. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pin this right up here. Actually, I'm going to move this over just a little bit. Just making sure everything is staying in place. All right, so now I have those clips on there that's holding this in place that way. So you can kind of see. So I'm just going to go over and I'm going to stitch right down that line. And so there we go. And again, you want to make sure that pocket stays way out of the way. And so just lift that up in there. All right. And I like to start up just a little bit above it, just so that, again, because the pockets are going to get some wear and tear, I like to really make sure it's secure at the top. So I'm kind of, there we go. I went forward a little bit and then back a little bit. And do it one more time. And then off we go. And you just want to stay on that line. If you're off a smidge, it's okay because it'll get covered up by those things, but you want to have it as close as you can. All right, so here we go. It's a little hard to see, but along that line is our stitch. Now, I did just realize I also had done it as a basting stitch. So I would recommend you change your stitch length to a 2.5 for that. And so I could show you. So we're just gonna go down to a 2.5. And we'll do it again real quick just to make sure. And if you do like I just did, it's not a big deal. Just do a quick stitch on there. It's not going to hurt it to have extra. In fact, it'll just make it that much more secure. So, whoop. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, so now we have this gorgeous pocket. I love how these pockets turn out. And so, all right, so we've done that. And fold the cargo pocket back into position. We can do that. That's easy enough. So it wants us to put the pocket back down. So putting it down there. Oh, I almost forgot to trim my thread. So we'll do that real quick. One more. Okay. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just baste, if I remember right. So we're going to just baste around the outer edges. One thing I'm going to do, and I don't have regular scissors here, but I have these, which are not working for me at all because there's too many layers. Do we have another pair of scissors? Even my little pink handled ones that I had over there would be okay. I think I left them over there. Oh, no, you know what, PJ? I have them over here. I'm sorry.
You got them?
I purposely brought, again, these are not what we necessarily recommend. I keep thinking there'll be more supplies over here, but I bring things as my like backup just in case. And, thank you. Mm-hmm. This is what you want, a real scissors. And so here we go. Oh, plus we have, I know Chelsea really likes it, the sound of the cutting scissors. So. That's how we should start our show from now on, I think. All right, so we just wanted to trim that up so that we know we're matching up on the back. In fact, I probably should have turned it over because I can see where, there we go. All right, I think we're in good shape. That's pretty close. All right. So now, again, we're just going to baste around the outside edge. So I'm going to put our stitch length back up to that 3.5. Pen over. And so I'm just going to start here because really I'm just going around that pocket. And I'm using about 1/4 inch. And I did back stitch just at the top of the pocket just to kind of make sure that it reinforces that to help keep it from pulling. I just go nice and slow around those corners. And then watch as you get close to those folds to make sure you've got them in there nice and neatly and that they're matching up. So there we go. Again, we'll back stitch over here just to make sure. All right, now look how beautiful that is. I just love this. These pockets are so cool. So,
looking good.
Yeah. All right. So our next step, I think we're going to do our pocket. So You're going to want 2 of a number D, one with the fleece attached to it and one without. And actually, I'm going to see if PJ will help me do this so we're not going back and forth. That way you can stay over here. I just need, I had done it on the stack over there, so I need the top item. There you go. It should all be clipped together. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. That's the challenge with the studio. We have cutting over on one side and this over here. So I'm trying to figure out how best to make it smooth. So for now, we're setting that beautiful pocket away. We're making the next one. So you're going to take one that has just like a shape flex or whatever medium weight interfacing you use, and the other one has, on mine has a medium, the heavyweight fusible fleece. And lots of threads from my house. I've been sewing like crazy trying to get these samples ready for Beg Club. All right, so we're just going to put right sides together and we're going to just stitch the top. And so we're just gonna stitch across the top there. Double check that that's what it wants. I'm pretty confident. Yep. All right, and this is a 1/4 inch seam is what I'm using. Just going to double check that everything's lining up. Now this is a time when using a walking foot is really nice because we are going through multiple layers, and they're also like with that fleece layer, it just makes it a lot easier to control the fabric and get it through evenly. And so there we go. All right. So on this one, we're going to press it open, and then we're going to fold it, and then we're going to top stitch. Now I'm going to cheat just to kind of save us from going back and forth, and I'm just going to kind of finger press this and clip it. I do recommend, like, if you want a cleaner seam, that you press that, but I think we'll be okay for this sample to do it this way. So again, I'm finger pressing it and pressing it open, just really working that to make sure it's even. And so, there we go. All right, so again, we're going to be top stitching this. So I'm using that 3.5 length, and I'm just going to go right over this. And you want to use about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm using the inside of that foot. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see there's that 1/8 of an inch top stitch on there. Looks really nice and clean. The next step is going to be to add your fastener. Now, on the original bag, I put in snaps instead. The pattern calls for Velcro. I'm not a huge Velcro fan for some reason. And so I didn't actually put anything in your kits. And someone came in today, Susan did, and said, there's no Velcro. So I apologize to any of you who are looking for your Velcro. I kind of left it blank because I thought, well, you know, we may want to upgrade and do either a magnetic snap or a regular snap like I had done. Peter, would you mind handing me the bag and I'll show them what I did inside. I did go and grab Velcro though for today just because I thought, well, someone else came in, I probably should show you the way the pattern calls for it. But you can see this is the pocket we just made, is this one here. It's the opposite side. And I just used a snap and I just thought that looked really nice. This is the flap that we're going to make today. And again, I put the snap in beforehand and I I just thought it looked nice kind of closing in like that. You could use a magnetic snap there. You could put a strap across and it just tucks in. You could use Velcro. You can use anything you want. And so I'm kind of going to assume a lot of you have those things at home, but I apologize for, I probably should have put that in there. So next time, even if I think we're going to go with another option, I'll at least give you the basics of that. So I'll keep that in mind as we do our bag club kits. So anyway, we're going to go ahead. We're going to put that Velcro on now. And so we're going to use the soft side on here. I think it's the soft. I'm going to double check. Okay, it wants us to, first we're supposed to baste around the edges. I hadn't done that yet. And then we put this on. And so we're going to keep basting. So on this, we're just going to go around the outer edge. I'm going to turn it over this way because this side has it cut, and I want to make sure I catch all of that. All right. So again, I'm just using that 3.5 for my basting. And it really is just holding it in place. So when we assemble the bag, these fabrics and interfacing don't move around. And so it will not be seen or anything like that. It's also not structural. It's just to keep things from moving around. Now, because I didn't press this, the fabric wants to kind of slide up a little bit. So for me, in what I'm doing, I'm kind of pulling the fabric down just a smidge to keep it lined up. And so if you press it, you shouldn't need to do that. Although if it seems to be moving on you, feel free to pin it or clip it to make it a little bit easier. There we go. So put it on that corner. Bumping things. There we go. All right. So now that's D, just a basic pocket. We'll go ahead and trim around that excess. Now that we've got that there. All right, on this side. All right, perfect. We'll put that over there. Now we're just going to center this. So when we center, I'm just going to go ahead and fold it in half. And I'm going to give it a quick little mark with my heat erase. And then this is going to go across just like that. So just going to see if it said any measurement. I was going kind of off the picture. Let's see. So we're just going through all layers is what it says. It doesn't have a set amount to go down, but it did have it up pretty high on there in the picture. So we're just going to go ahead and leave that right about there. And I'm just going to sew around the outside edges of it. I'm going to drop my stitch length down to a 2.5. There we go. Like I said, I do like to try and stay as close to the edges as possible, allowing as much space on a piece of Velcro to grab as possible. Move that back over there. I could go one more stitch to the end. There we go. Now you could also do like a zigzag or something around the edge if you wanted. If that makes you feel more comfortable with how secure it is. Almost there. And I just overlapped a little bit on my stitching just so that I would have a little extra support on that. All right, we're just going to trim that thread, get it out of the way. So there's our Velcro. Alrighty, now so we're now going to take here's C, and we're gonna just do it this direction. So your Velcro will be on the outside. Double check that I'm not crazy. Yeah, nope, we're good. All right, so there we go. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to baste around the outside of that. So again, we're going to go back up to that stitch length of 3.5. And I'm going to put just a couple clips in just to sort of hold it as we go to move around. So just one on each side, not a big deal. And there we go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to double check. I thought I saw it being off by a little bit. All right, so what I just did is I just matched to see if they matched up, and they didn't. So I'm going to just move this up a little bit, and I'm going to use my ruler. Did I bring it back over with me? I did. So over here, I'm at 1.5 inches, and over here I want to be at 1.5 inches as well. So I am just going to slide that down just a smidge, and I'm right at 1.5. So that's perfect. That's what I want. So just again down here in the center, just to kind of hold it in place a little bit. And then I'm going to do this here. All right, so now we're going to baste. All right. All right, around we go. So I don't know how many of you were watching yesterday with Monday Material Madness, but Joni and Gloria were talking about my dog. So my dog is Cheesy, and it's just kind of funny. I was replaying because I wanted to see what fabrics they had on the show, and they were talking about my dog. So it's kind of funny. We always talked about, I was telling PJ before that since we have a Cheese, that if we were to have another dog, we would name him Macaroni so that we could have mac and cheese. So the boys thought that was pretty clever. So I got a little snicker out of PJ there. So
I love goofy dog names.
You have goofy dog names too?
Oh, we have nicknames. I think
Okay.
it always kind of morphs into something else.
Yeah. I know our kids very rarely get called by their names. It's usually, in fact, Nico, my youngest, has always been very athletic, and he's 14 now. And but like when he started middle school and made the middle school team, I'm in the stands, and he did something that I was very excited about, and I'm like, oh, go Cake! That's awesome! And everyone's like, Cake? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh dear. And so I have a good friend who her son has been on teams with him for years and years, and so she calls him Cake too when we're cheering because he has a relatively common name, and but nobody gets called Cake except him. So, but there we go. So that's done. So now what's nice, we have our 2 pockets for the lining are now complete. So I think the next step is our gusset, but let me double check that I'm not missing anything before we get to that. Oh, we're actually going to do our tab next is what it wants us to do. So the tab, on mine, I went ahead and I used some of the faux leather, the basket weave, to cut it. And I had done that in the sample as well, so I'll show you. But it could also just as easily be done with fabric. I think that's what it calls for. I just thought it was a nice accent. So this is J, the piece J. And it's just, like I said, I just did it with the faux leather, but you could do it as fabric. I think it's the fabric or the pattern calls for it to be done with the interior fabric. So, all right, so we're gonna get J. I think I have to mark on it. So I'm gonna go back over there, bring some things with me so I don't, let's see, where's my, there we go. All right, sorry. Okay. We'll be going back over there shortly, but I thought would at least move over here for a second. So J is right here. So J is this piece. And so we're going to let's see. So it wants us to, on the wrong side, draw a line vertically in the center. All right, so we want to draw a line in the center. So mark that. Now this is when a chalk line would be a little easier to see. So if you have a chalk line, you may want to use that for this, but I'm going to just really try it there. I think you can kind of see that on there. I've drawn a line down the center. So then it wants us to put this into the center, and it says to press. Obviously, because I'm using a faux leather, pressing is not an option for me. So we're just going to clip that into place. So I'm just gonna, got that line there, so I'll just do a couple clips. I feel like I didn't do it this way when I did mine, but we'll do it the pattern way, and then if we need to modify because of doing the faux leather, we will. All right, there we go. So I'm just turning both sides in, so we're going to end up with a nice long piece. So what are your dog's names?
Tucker, not very creative. Actually like the name he came with now a little bit better, but the other was Lemon.
Okay, that's right. I think you told me earlier Lemon, which is cute.
Yeah, Tucker used to be Jimbo, and Lemon was Buttons.
Oh.
And so, I don't know.
Well, Buttons kind of fits the whole sewing theme. I feel like you should have kept Buttons.
I know. That's a hard thing to do, is name a dog or anything, really.
Yeah. All right. So then we'll fold it in half horizontally. So I think like this. Okay. All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to then fold it. So we've got it linked like, and then we'll fold it like this, and we're going to stitch around it. Now here's where, if you're using a snap or like a magnet or something, you'll want to put that in one side now. So you could put the snap all the way through the whole thing if that's what you want to do. Actually, it'll go down at this end. So you'll put your magnet or your snap in there now. Once we stitch this on, because I'm using Velcro today, just according to the pattern, I'm going to go ahead and the Velcro will go on this after we've stitched that. So we're going to go ahead and go put that on. I'm going to take the gussets with me over to the machine so that hopefully PJ doesn't have to go back and forth quite so much. He's not complaining or anything, just, you know, trying to save him a few steps. All right, so I've got my my E's and my F's. And I'm going to take them over. I don't know what time it is. Let me see real quick.
It is 12:55.
Okay, we're doing great on time, guys, so we'll get a little more done. I'm going to take the zipper over with me, too. I'm feeling very optimistic, but we'll see. We'll see. All right.
Oh, that's a good one.
What's
Zipper.
The zipper?
For a dog name.
Oh, that is cute. Aw. Growing up, my dog's name was Spunky, and she was the laziest dog ever. So she came with the name, but I'm like, yeah, it does not fit. So, all right. Alrighty. So if we get to it, there's our zipper. Little tools. All right. So again, we're going to stitch around those sides. So I'm going to change the way I have my my clips, because I only need one to hold the whole thing together. And so now I have light colored thread in my machine just because that's, I got that I thought I was working on just lining today. I forgot to factor this in. So I didn't grab black, but I do recommend using a thread that coordinates and matches and blends, especially when you're using the faux leather. As much as I like the look of a different color stitching, like you can see it on here from when I was basting, it looks cool. But if you make a little mistake in there, it's going to show up. So I tend to prefer to mask my mistakes by using a same color. All right, put that over there. All right, so again, let's check our stitch length. So we're at a 3.5, so it's perfect for basting. And this isn't going to be taking any strain, these stitches, so that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna give a little knot. All right. Again, I'm just lining up with the side of my foot, just to try and keep it as consistent as I can. There we go. And I'm gonna go a little slower now because we do have a lot of layers. There's 4 layers of this faux leather that we're going through right now. And so, there we go. We'll see how straight I can keep it. Ooh, I think I need one more stitch. There we go. Perfect. I was going to say, I think our dog his name was Merlot when we picked him out. So, all right. So not too bad. It actually looks pretty nice. I'm not too ashamed of my stitching. So we've got that. Now we're going to put the Velcro on. So this is when we do the sticky side. And they call for doing it lengthwise. So you're going to go around the way, same shape, so to speak. I know it's a little hard to see there, but that's that. All right, so again, I'm just going to go through this close to the edges. There we go. All right, almost there. All right, so here we go. So you can see, not as straight back there as I would like, but if I had black thread, that wouldn't show up at all. So I'm just gonna cut my extra thread. There you go, so you kind of see. I do a very good job trimming that. There we go, a little better. So now we've got our flap done. All right, and so that, we're just going to stitch on. So we're going to go over here to this one. And it doesn't, you want to center it across, but if it doesn't match up exact on here, it says that's okay because it will, when your computer is in there, it'll adjust how wide this is. And this is nice because you can have it connecting down here or all the way down here. So you've got lots of room for it to move around. So let's see, I'm going to mark halfway. And you can mark that with your heat erase. You can put like a little clip in there. So when I say a little clip, if you take your scissors and you just take off just the tiniest little bit, like just a couple threads, you could then have a small V there. So you can kind of see that small little V in there. And then you know, okay, I'm going to put this on. And I'm just going to click there. So again, we're going to just baste that into place. Now this is going to take some wear and tear, so you may want to go over it a couple of times, even though this is the basting. It just sort of gives it a little more strength. And so I'm going to go back. All right. There we go. So now it will close up and keep everything nice and secured.
Looks good.
Perfect. All right. And then our next step is going to be the gussets. So we're going to take, those are our E's and F's. So F is the base. So we've got our base here. I'm trying to mark everything as I go because, there we go. And then we're going to take our E's, which I did not mark with the shape. So before we sew this on, we do need to do that real quick. And so
Are you just going to do it right here?
I'm just going to do it right here. Yeah. They're not they're not a straight line, so I don't need the rotary cutter to do that. So these are off the pattern pieces. All right, I'll do that twice. Now, this was, in theory, your homework from like 2 weeks ago. And so you guys probably are all way ahead of me and have this part done. But I didn't get this part finished. So I was working on it last night and I thought I got all the pieces trimmed up that I would be using today, but I missed this one. So you caught me.
So you're using the walking foot.
I am. I love the walking foot. So this is the digital dual feed walking foot. It came with the Solaris. I think it comes with some other machines. But if you don't have it, we can help make that happen. We have the mechanical one that's really nice, and then we also have the digital dual feed. So there we go. I'm sewing it now, but I'm still just going to mark on here. These are my E's. So you're going to take your wider end and you're going to attach that to your F. And we do want a regular stitch on this because this is not basting. So you're going to go down to a 2.5 millimeter. And I just have it on the 3. So number 3 stitch. And on here, we've got a bigger stitch width. And so we're going to go, she calls for a 1/2 inch on hers. So we're going to go 1/2 inch on this because you do want these ones to line up. Now, it's up to you. You could, I'm kind of just doing it, but at the same time, it feels like it kind of got loose on me. Or you can use the light, which is really nice. Oops, I don't typically have a grid. This is crazy. All right, so let's see, the subline. We're going to do just a straight line on there, and we're going to go ahead and increase that to a 1/2 inch, which I'm not sure what it is, but it's going to tell us when we get there. So I'll tell you guys when I know. Okay, so 12.7 millimeters is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to pull that needle back up. You can see that green line. So I was off by a little bit. I was off by almost 1/8 inch. So I'm going to keep that green line along the edge, and that way I know I'm getting a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I'm just back stitching. There we go. started a knot, but I wasn't on the thing. All right, so back stitch or knot, or if you're really feeling crazy, you can do both. All right, so I've got one side on there. So now we're going to do the other side. So again, right sides together. You want the wide end of E on there. So I've got E marked there just so I don't get confused. All right, and again, we have this marked on here. So we're keeping our green line, which is our 1/2 inch over there. We'll do a little knot. Another string. And off we go. Give it a little knot. All right, so this is now our gusset. And so you're going to want to press that open. So you'll press it. I like to do it this way. We're going to just press it. And I'm going to be a little bit lazy. I don't recommend you do the lazy method, but I'm just finger pressing that open. I'm going to do both seams that way, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. And then I'm going to just stitch 1/8 of an inch on either side of that seam to hold it into place. And so here, I'm just doing that one more time. Get that pressed down as well as I can. Again, ironing that would be better. Because of the studio, the way we're set up and going back and forth, I'm trying to kind of make it a little easier for everybody. And since we didn't accomplish much last week, I feel obligated to get a lot done this week, and we're doing great so far. So, all right. So again, we're just going to top stitch on either side of that. I'm going to just use the inside of my foot. I know that's about 1/8 of an inch. And so since this isn't something that's going to affect how things go together, it's just to help reinforce that seam. I'm not worried about it being an exact. So here we go. We'll just turn that and do the other side. Now I had left this at the 2.5. This would definitely, I think it would look better at the 3.5 millimeter. Kind of more of a basting stitch versus the stitching, but it's not bad. Just a little tighter than it needed to be. So, all right, we'll do the other side. Again, about 1/8 of an inch. Just making sure that's, there we go.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
Our cat is named Chainsaw.
Okay, now that is a crazy
That's
name.
a good name. Yeah.
How did your cat get named Chainsaw?
You know, I don't really know what came over me, but it was Forklift and Chainsaw were the two cats, and I gave one away and kept one.
So you're feeling very construction worker or
Yeah.
something with lumberjack. All right, so now our gusset is done. So we're going to go ahead and get that attached. So I am going to fold this in half. I'm going to match up these seams, and I'm going to do just like we did before. I'm going to put a little clip in at the center mark because we're going to match up that center mark with our pockets. So I'm going to do it on both sides. I'm going to use the better scissors this time though, so it shows up a little better. So again, just a little snip out of there, and we'll do the same on this side. Chainsaw, that's a funny one. I definitely have my cheesy bead, I think. Or unusual. All right, so you can kind of see those little clips there. We're going to do the same thing in our, actually I think I might just mark it on here because this is so thick. I'm not sure if I'll even be able to get a deep enough V for it to make sense. No, I changed my mind. We're going to clip a V in there.
Are we going to be showing the options for this?
Oh, we can. I didn't bring the kits over with me, but so we have 3 choices.
They're in the bubble now.
Oh, great.
Let me make sure that's
accurate. Sure. So yes, there were 3 options with this this kit. So it was to do exactly what we have here, the black basket weave. We'd have to look at the supply for it because I know we only had enough fabric for 2 more. We thought we had no more, and
it looks like the black is 0 left.
Is it zeroed out? Okay.
If that goes to wait list, we'll check.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely. If you want the black, go to wait list, pre-authorize, because if I go through the kits and I can make any more, I will, and I'll get you taken care of. And so, but our supplier has no more of it. I can't find any more anywhere else. I did clean out my sewing room though, and I saw that I had a little bit. So if I kind of think about it and I don't have a purpose for it, I may be willing to part with it so that you guys have get another kit or 2 out of it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to match up. So I've got those little cutouts on both, so we're going to line those up so that way we know we're centered. And you want to start at the center point and work your way around to the outer edges of the bag. So I do like to clip this. I don't like to just rely on sewing as I go. And so we're going to just clip every couple of inches. I moved all these clips over here. Set them here now. All right. Get my garbage out of there. All right. Now in the corners, I do put extra in just because I'm trying to really make sure I've got that. You can get around those corners nicely.
Chainsaw is a great name when you're calling for your cat and your neighbors can hear you.
Oh dear.
It's when we go to the vet, it's pretty. It's a funny reaction.
Oh yeah, that would be really funny. Yeah, I have to take Cheeseball to the vet today. I don't know what happened to him, but he's not moving well, so I'm a little worried.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, so we're under construction, and so the poor guy, he doesn't have his bed. Well, he doesn't have his bedroom. So his bedroom is where the construction is. Not that he has his own bedroom. It's just that he has a crate that he slept in since the day we got him, and it's always been in that room. And now it's in another room, and he refuses to go into it for some reason. Like I thought, oh great, we'll have it here. It's nice and quiet, but he won't go in it. So at night he's like meandering around, like sleeping on the floor where I sit. I watch TV at night, or he's got a couple beds set up, so he'll go lay on one of those, but he just can't seem to get himself comfortable. So I don't know if he just isn't
doesn't feel at home anymore.
Yeah, it's like I feel like he maybe is like sleeping hard on himself, and it's like, I mean, if I were sleeping on the floor, I'd be sore and not be walking upstairs as well either. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's nothing, but
it's always something. It's a weird experience when you have construction. Like we had a new roof. I think Joni's getting a new roof as well.
Okay, well that's basically what this is that we're doing. We had a glass roof made in England and shipped over.
Wow.
It's really cool. It's like got the lantern and everything. It looks like you're at like a serious botanic garden kind of thing, but the glass kept going bad, and because we had it shipped from England, there's no one here that can work on it. And so we finally got a bid of someone who was willing to try, but wouldn't guarantee their work, and it was so expensive. We finally just gave up. We're having it removed and just putting up a traditional roof, which is so sad because it's a lot of money for making our house much less cool. So I'm using that 1/2 inch seam again. And so You know, I'm going to double check the seam allowance to make sure she didn't give us something different on this. Okay, so actually she says at the top, I'm going to cut that to start at 3/8 of an inch and then work your way to a 1/2 inch. So we're going a little bit less than that 1/2 inch to start. So I'm at about a 3/8 and we'll just work our way down and get to that 1/2 inch. There we go. So you can see I have that green line over there.
Someone says they love the laser beams on their Solaris.
It's so nice. I know not everyone has it, so I try not to always use it in case people want to know what we're doing but don't have that feature. But it is really nice to be able to just cheat and have it do the measurement for you. If you don't have it though, you can do a couple different things. You can mark tape on here for it. You can mark on your sewing foot if your foot's wide enough, depending on what length you want to go. You can put a little tab. You could use the heat erase markers or a piece of tape. So there's different ways to be able to mark that. All right, now we're getting to this corner. So just go nice and slow. Not the most enjoyable for watching, but you do want to go as slow as you can because you want that corner you don't want it to pucker up. So you may have to move your fabric every few stitches to keep it nice. And we'll go back after and we'll put some little clips in so that it lays nicely. And so. This is a time when the stiletto is really nice too for being able to lay everything down and get in there. So I'm noticing mine's trying to pinch up a little bit. So we're going to sort of straighten that out with this. All right. And I didn't have the clips for over here before. I just didn't have quite enough, so we're kind of playing with a little bit. Okay. All right. So now we have the gusset on one side. So you kind of see this is our lining. How nice that looks. All right.
Looks really good.
Yeah. So then we're going to get the other one put on. Time do we have, PJ?
We've got 1:20.
1:20. Okay, so I don't think we're going to get our zipper done today, but we'll definitely get this part done so you guys can see. Now, I didn't mark this one. I knew that because our pocket matched up in the center, that's our center point. So we're going to match that with our gusset point. So there we go. If you have pinking shears, those are really nice for trimming back that seam because it does get pretty bulky. If not, I like to go through and just sort of cut a wave. Some people like to cut out triangles. So there's various ways you can go about sort of trimming those corners. You can do just straight lines. Now, straight lines tend to leave kind of a lot of bulk still in there, but it is definitely one of the options. So we'll get this side sewn on and then we'll trim back the seams and show you a couple different ideas. I actually have my grandmother's old pinking shears, so I have to admit I might be due for a new pair. Ah, thank you.
These are the Kai scissors, Kai pinking shears, and they're in the bubble now. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Grab some of those.
All right, so this one didn't line up quite right for me, so I'm curious if the other side does. So I'm going to just put one in real quick here because I'm off by probably 5/8 of an inch, so that's kind of far. Let's see.
Okay, let's see. So I was going to put you're using the digital dual feed. You said the mechanical one.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I know that's not the right.
Dynamic walking
The
foot?
dynamic. That's
yeah. Why don't we'll just throw that in the bubble.
Sure. Yeah, if you guys don't already have that, and you want to get into bag making, I do highly recommend it. And so, all right, this one's off by a smidge too, so maybe it just got cut differently, and that's okay. So I'm out of clips over here. Would you mind grabbing me a few more clips? The bin's right there. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so we'll do a few more. So like I said, both sides are off by just a smidge, so not a big deal because we can just trim that off. So go ahead now and get these sewn on. So again, we're using that 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead, I'll start over here. We'll do it this way. Move that so they're not rattling around. All right, so again, we've got that 1/2 inch that we're marking, although at the beginning, at the top, we start at the 3/8. So just a little less. We'll mark our way over to a 1/2 inch.
Does the height need adjusted on bulk seams, Deborah asks.
The height of the...
The height of
the foot?
What do you mean, Deborah? The height of the foot or the height? What height?
I think maybe she was talking about the 3/8. I'm not sure. The 3/8. So you want, that was for the seam allowance. So you start the top a little bit narrower and then you work your way into that 1/2 inch. And so I don't know, maybe that's what she meant.
The foot. Can you adjust the height of the digital dual feed foot?
I don't think so, but I mean, you can move the roller. You can lift it up, but I'm using it to pull it all through consistently. I know some of the feet you can adjust. Like you can set it so that it levels. You can level it out. But I don't believe the walking foot has that. This is one of those times when we need Joni in here, right? The door just opened. I bet it's not Joni. That would be pretty funny.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Steve that just walked in, and Steve knows the answer. He said that it can be adjusted, so. Or at least he thinks so. So he's moving a machine. Maybe he'll pop back in and give us an answer.
In the settings.
In the settings.
So Steve's going to look it up on another machine and then let us know. He thinks it's something you do in the settings, not on the foot itself. We should ask Deborah. She probably knows. She's the one asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think a lot of people love the dynamic walking foot.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Really popular.
Really, really nice. Okay. It does, it's very strong. It pulls through really nicely. And so again, we're going around that corner, so just take your time and then we'll trim out the extras as soon as we're done.
But you're using the open toe foot. Or which one are you using? Is it the standard foot that comes with it?
This is one of the standard.
Okay. You've said before that one of your favorites is the open toe, right?
The open toe is nice for certain things because you can see where you're stitching. I kind of like, this one's a little bit more closed up, which I like when I'm doing bulky things because it helps keep everything sort of under control. Mm-hmm. And so. Let's see. So again, we're getting up towards the top, so we want to start narrowing our seam a little bit. All right. I thought for a second I might have grabbed some of the fabric behind. I did, darn it. So I'm looking at my seam here and I pinched a little bit. So I'll redo that at home. I'm not going to do that with you guys, but I always like to go back and look at my seams. And if I catch something, I like to be able to go back and I'll just ease that out and fix it. But what we were talking about before is you want to go through and you want to thin up all this extra fabric. Because if you don't, it really sits in there and gives problems. And you don't have as smooth of a look. So PJ found the pinking shears. Pinking shears are fantastic. You can get in there nice and close. This is a lot, so we'll see if these pinking shears can do it. Oh my goodness, these are good ones. So you have to take your time, and you don't want to get that seam, but you can see how nicely it's taking that out. Now I think I am going to have to separate this to get that to work because this is just a little too much bulk. But you can certainly go in here and you can take out a little bit there. And then I can come back here and get some of this. This has got the foam in there. So I'll do it this way on this side. And then I'll show you the other way on the other side. Or another way. So you can see now I've kind of got all that bulk out of there. Now, another way to do it, which this is one of my favorite ways, is I like to just do a wave. So I'll go in. So I'll come back here and I go like that. So I go down in like that so that, and I have upper areas because I want to keep some of that structure. I don't want to get too close to the seam. And I'll just do that. So there we go. All right. So now we've got our gusset. Now we have our gusset attached. This is the inside of our bag. You can see in there, look how great this looks. I'm going to zip the pocket just so you can see. It looks a little nicer like that. So isn't that great? We've got those gorgeous pockets. We got our Velcro. We got a lot accomplished today.
That is really nice.
So we are going to bump the zipper to next week. I thought we might have to because I knew this was going to be a lot to get done in one day. But so hopefully next week you're able to get to this step. And then next week we'll add the zipper to the lining. So we're going to just trim this down. I think I just miscut it when I did it. So we'll get that trimmed. We'll get the zipper added next week and go from there. So. All right. So I think if we want to go back over there, we've got some things to show you today. So that'll be fun. Always want to give you the opportunity to spend some money with Gloria's, right? So, but we had a couple weeks ago, I had shown all of you the gift that I had made for Lauren. And it was, so it was a diaper changing set. It was like a holder and it was like a changing pad and everything. And I had said I would try and find a pattern similar to it because I knew with the bag club coming and me trying to design a bag for that I wasn't, and being under construction and, you know, just life, I wouldn't be able to get much more than that done. So, so anyway, we'll go ahead and I found a pattern and I found some really cute fabrics. So I'm very excited to show you. So I don't have the whole kit put together, but I wanted to show you, because the pattern just came in. So this is a by Annie pattern. The pattern is sold separately, but then there is going to be a kit. In fact, there is one, I just don't have it cut up yet. So it's Changing Station 2.0. So this is it. So it's really cool. It has the, so it has the pouch that you can use and it has zippers on either side. It has the mesh and it folds and has a handle and everything for carrying. It has a little strap that you could put on your stroller, your diaper bag or whatever if you don't want it on the inside of your bag. And then it also has the changing pad.
Would you lay that flat?
Yeah, of course. Is that better?
There we go. Yeah.
The other thing I really think would be cool with this is sewing supplies. You could make the pad into an ironing mat. I'm going to grab my tea as you're looking at it, but I just think you could use it for so many different things. It's just really nice. And so the size on this is going to be, the clutch when it's folded is 7 1/4 by 11 1/2 by 2 inches deep. When open, it's 15 1/2 by 11 1/2. The pad is 22 by 22. So so here's kind of the sizing on that, but just really, really cute. And now I found these fabrics, or I picked these fabrics I thought would be fantastic. So this is for a kit. The kit will include 3/4 yard of each of these fabrics. Look how cute they are. I'm loving them. It has the little pinwheels. It has this really great plaid, and it has also this stripe. I tried to pick something gender neutral, but also kind of on the neutral side. I know it's maybe a little bright, but so you get 3/4 yard of each one of those. You get the mesh for the pockets. You get this. You get 3/4 yard strapping, the 2 zippers that you need, the Velcro, a D-ring, and a swivel hook. So you get all of that for the kit. The only thing that's not included is going to be the iron-on vinyl, because we've been selling it separately. We've got it available again today. And then also not the soft and stable. I know a lot of us have a lot of that at home, or we buy it separate or in bulk and things like that. So I have the soft and stable here today for you if you want to buy it separate. But the kit, again, will include all of the fabrics, and it will include the mesh, the strapping, the zippers, the Velcro, the D-rings, and the swivel hook. In fact, I'll put this right here, and then PJ can even just show you. I thought it would be easier if I had it kind of. You want me to straighten it at all, or are you good?
Yeah, if you go to your left a little bit, it'll kind of...
I can turn everything sort of left, and there we go. How's that? Sure. Or you mean all...
Yeah, even more. Just a little bit more, if you would.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So the pattern's not included in that. The pattern is separate. That way, if you want to make a bunch of them, like with Lauren, I ended up making 2 full sets. Like she had other things as well, but then you can make as many as you want without having to repurchase that pattern. And so, but just really fun. I'm going to grab the vinyl because I think that's probably the next thing we'll show. In fact, maybe I'll just grab everything and bring it to within reach so I'm not walking back and forth. Not that I couldn't use a few extra steps in my life. All right. So that's that, which I just thought was really cute. I hope you guys like it. I think it's really fun. And so I may actually make one of this one. I just love this fabric. All right, so that's that. If you want to do the vinyl on it, we have 2 different styles. One is glossy, one is matte. The matte still has a hint of shine to it. It's not super shiny, but it has a little bit, I think just because it's plastic. They are 2 yards in length, 17 inches wide, so by 2 yards. So I don't know which one PJ has on the thing, or if you...
So I had gloss, and now the matte finish is currently in.
So if you do shop all, if you missed whichever one you wanted, you can just do shop all. You click on that button and then everything will come up and you can pick whatever you like. So again, that wasn't included in the kit. That will make it, so what that does is make it, I don't want to say waterproof, but it's water resistant. And so, which is really nice for a changing pad to be able to do that. And so, so yeah. And I did use that on Lauren's, and so she hasn't had the baby yet, so I can't tell you how well it's working, but it is also washable, so, which is nice.
Easier to clean, I bet.
Yeah, definitely. And so I ended up using it on both sides of the changing mat, so she could use either side. And so, and what's cute is your changing mat, you could have one side with windmills, one side with plaid, or however you would want to do it. So just super cute. All right.
I love the pinwheel fabric. That's really cool.
Right? I am in love with it. I'm not sure if we can get any more of it, so I probably should have had you put a quantity in there. I'm going to count real quick. So we've 1, 2, 6. Can we put a quantity of 8 in there? So
sure.
I think we can only do 8 of this kit, maybe a couple more. I didn't think to look to see if we could get more fabric of it, and so we may be able to, though. It's a pretty new one. So, but if you guys like this, to do the changing station, we have other fabrics too. I could put together a couple more. Like I said, I came in today. I only work 2 days a week, so I came in this morning and I was like, oh, the pattern's here. Let's do a kit, and so anyway, I hope that you like it, and we can always make more if you want. So.
I like the colors that you chose.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It turned out real cute.
There's a lot of temptation these days to use very muted colors in a baby room.
Yeah, I actually was trying for muted, and it just didn't work.
No, I don't think it's too crazy that it
right.
feels like it's,
and it's a nice, a boy or a girl could do it. Plus, if you're cleaning a messy diaper, do you really want it on just cream? So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
As a mom of 2 that are teenagers now, I know I wouldn't. PJ has a little one, so he's aware. He's like in the midst of the.
All right.
All right. So that is that. So that's that pattern, that fabric kit, and the vinyl.
There's a question here about the Morgan Messenger kit. Does it include the pattern?
No, it does not. So the pattern is separate. So I think we have the pattern on our list today. I could be wrong, but PJ's pretty good at this. I bet he could sneak it in there if it's not already. I thought we did. We talked about it. Okay. So yeah, you'll want, if you're joining now for the Morgan bag, now that you're kind of seeing the lessons, you'll want to get the pattern as well as the kit. The other thing that's not included is the bozal, so that interfacing, and so, but you get all the hardware. So here, let me grab the bag and I'll show you. So you'll get you'll get all the exterior fabric, so that faux leather. You'll get the zippers. So there's a zipper here. There's, pop it open. There's a zipper across, and then the zipper for the pocket that we just had been working on and made this last week. You'll also get the magnetic snaps, and you'll get the hardware for the straps. So you'll get the 2 rectangles as well as the slider, and you'll get, I almost forgot, the lining fabric. So I apologize. I didn't think to bring the fabric over for the other styles, but there's pictures of them, I believe, of the others. But we have the black one, of course. We also have a brown leather that has like a teal colored lining. And then we have a white, it's like a pearl color. So it's definitely more feminine. And I put a red lining in it. So kind of fun. So those are the 3 choices that we have for them. And so,
yeah, and I think if they click the product, they might be able to see the videos, the past videos where you have showed the.
Oh, that's
the
a good point. So yeah, if you go back like a month or so, it'll be in there. And so you may be able to even type in Morgan, and when you're in your shop, and when you do shopping and looking at things, and that'll pop up those. So, oh yeah, it includes, thank you, Dean. It also includes the bag feet. So the bag feet, this one doesn't have the bag feet because I didn't have them at home when I made the sample. It also includes 2 free patterns. So the fabric kit does. So you get, this one I had created, it's an easy, like a toiletry bag, Doppler bag, and it's where you actually sew onto the zippers first. You sew the binding onto it, and then you attach that to the fabric. So it makes it really simple for attaching a zipper. And then also there's a pattern for this wallet, which is kind of fun. It's very simple, but it uses all the material that you had before. So it all coordinates and makes just for a really nice gift set. And so thanks, Dean. I appreciate reminding me.
Does not include the Morgan Messenger bag
so no,
pattern.
Evelyn, it does not include the pattern. We were just talking about that. So that's separate. And so that way you can make as many as you want. I know Susan was in earlier and she's making 2 of them. So she was able to buy 2 kits plus a pattern, which makes, you don't want to pay for a pattern twice. It's, they're reasonable for the amount of work that goes into them, but unnecessary. So, all right. So that's kind of those things. Let's see. Oh, you know what? We've got the basics for that. So let's bring these basics over. So I also have something new, but let's go through our basics first, and then I'll show you something new, which I really liked. I've looked through it, and we may use it for some things. We already talked about the pattern. So this is the pattern alone for Morgan. Oh, a fly just went buzzing through.
The weather's getting better.
I hate the flies. So speaking of cheesy, my dog is petrified of all flying bugs. He got stung when he was a puppy. Never again has there been a problem, but a fly gets in the house and that dog like scurries off and hides. It's just, you would think, like, I don't know, he's a goofball.
Did you guys
So.
do all the decorating?
All right, so I think you want to do the Bozel next? All right, so I have Bozel, and so this is a fusible one, and it's 36 inches by 58. And so, and it can be used, even if you don't fuse it to something, you can still use this brand. But it's 36 inches by 58. So really nice size. For the changing station, you need 1 yard. So this is the exact amount it says you'll need because you use it for the clutch and you'll use it for the changing pad. And so for the Morgan Messenger bag, let me see how much we use for that. We don't use a lot of foam in that one. It's just in the flap, if I remember correctly. So this would be plenty for what you're doing on that. There is also a 2-yard option of the soft and stable. Do we have that one for the? Okay. Mm-hmm. And it is not fusible. It does have sort of a fabric coating on it that helps it attach to things. And so really nice to work with. I feel like it's a little denser. So it can tend to, when you're quilting things, kind of really show your stitches a little bit better. Oh, my son. How is my son on there? Nico James, hello. So if anyone sees Nico Marucci on there, that is my boy. And he's at home today. I forgot they have the day off because it's a voting day. Okay. So yes, Nico, you need to use the Solaris, but not mommy's. All right. So here's the soft and stable. It's 2 yards. So it's, that threw me seeing my kiddo on there. It is 72 by 58. And so just a really great product. So both of them work really nicely for this. And then last but not least is Shape Flex. Shape Flex for the Morgan bag, you use a lot, so you'll want the full packet for that. And this is a 60-inch by 1 yard. You will use every little bit of it. So the changing station, I don't believe uses it at all. I don't know why I'm going back and forth, but just because they're what's in front of me. So again, that's the Shape Flex. And so, oh, I think Peggy's giving Nico some smiles. I can't believe on his day off he wants to watch his mama. So, gotta love the support.
You know what? I'm having camera trouble today, just like last week, but let me see if I can get us back up.
Okay.
They can still hear us. But,
okay. All right, everyone. So we're having a little camera problem. So PJ's working on it. So if you'll just give us a moment, we'll be back on. I just have one more item to show you, and then I'll talk about the bag club again. There we go.
Here we
go. I can see myself, so
we're
I assume
back.
they can see me.
Yeah, we're back.
You guys can see us?
Apologies.
Or me?
We'll get that straightened out.
All right. So that's kind of all our interfacing that we use. Now I wanted to show you this pattern for Morgan is made by Mrs. H. So she's the designer, very talented. I really think this pattern has been really great to work with, and very thorough, very professional looking. She actually wrote a book. Now the book is a little bit older. I ordered one in because I wanted to see what it was like. I actually debated on using it as kind of our curriculum for doing the bag club, and I thought, well, some of you may have it because it's a little older, so I didn't want to do that and have you, especially since I was doing it as a surprise. But so it's called the Complete Bag Making Masterclass. And again, she's just as thorough in this book. It has everything. It has like different types of fabric and why you would want to use them. It has different styles of pockets. You know, she goes through like 8-10 different pockets, and she has like measurements and things. So like here's, if you're making a wallet, here's like a card holder. And then she also has in here, of course, like here's how you put in elastic, different ways to do zippers, and very thorough, different hardware, why you would use the different hardware. And then different tools, of course, different locks. And then it gets back here, and she actually has, here's a whole section on different straps. And so really nice different ways to make those, putting piping in. And then she has some projects. So here's shaping, different ways to shape it and how you would do it different ways. Resizing. So let's say you like the Morgan bag, but you want it to be you know, something bigger. You have a bigger computer. Well, this shows you how you can resize a pattern and still have it look professional. And so, so here we go, little professional touches. So this is going to be things like adding hardware or how you add your interfacing and get it to, like, here's how she clips her corners to make sure she gets all the bulk out. All right, so here's the projects. I wanted to show you that too. So the book not only has all of these details on how to really how to make a professional bag, she also has patterns. So she's got this hobo bag, which is really cute. She has this little clutch, which is sweet. It looks like something I'm thinking of for you guys. All right, and then she has, there's this convertible backpack pattern. So it's kind of like a satchel and backpack. Here's a sling, like a little day bag. I just wanted to show you the pattern so you knew, like with it you're getting, and I really like this. This turned out really cute. So that's a tote. So I think you get like 5 or 6 patterns. Here's another one with slash pockets either direction. And then the trio pocket. Oh, so here's a pocketbook. So maybe there's even more. There might be 7 or 8 patterns in here. If I looked at the front, it would probably, and then there's a big travel duffel bag in here too. Here, I'm gonna look because now I'm curious how many bags you get. But anyway, so projects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 8. So 8 patterns plus a book, and it has the templates in the back as well. So anyway, highly recommend it from going through it a little bit. It looks like we've lost comments. So either no one's talking to us or are we down?
No, I think we're...
Nico, if you're watching, can you say hi to Mom?
Yeah, Nico.
I don't know if he's still watching. I can't believe he even commented.
I think we're still good. Yeah,
okay.
We're still showing.
Okay.
I'll triple check, but I think we're good.
All right. Well, I think the last thing is just I can go over the bag club one more time.
Yes,
so
please.
we still have a discounted price, but the price has gone up since last week. So last week it was at $119. This week we're at, hello everyone, thank you for responding. So it went up, we're at $125-ish this week, and then it'll end up at $139, I think. So it is going to include a book, which is basically, the book is on trend. So it's kind of something that's popular right now, but it's also bag making themed. We also get a pattern from a very well-known pattern designer, and it's a new release, so it just came out, so that's really fun. And then you'll also get a Tiffini bag pattern. You'll get kits, so you'll have the fabric, all the fabric that you need. It will not include your interfacing, but it will include all the things you need to make the bag outside of that. So it'll include the fabric, it'll include, like, if you need a zipper or some hardware, that will be included in it, for 3 bags. So one for the book, one for that designer I was talking about, and one for mine. I am struggling to decide between 2 different bags, so you may end up with 2 patterns for me, or I don't know, we'll see. And then there'll be some bonus items in there as well. So again, that's $125 this week, $124.88, and then it'll go up next week. I will start giving some hints pretty soon. May 7th is when those kits will ship out. And so I think that's everything.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Next week, we're going to get working on this Morgan. We'll finish the lining. We'll work on the flap. So we have the plan of 2 more classes, and we'll be done with our bag. So again, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Excellent.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.